Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Krasnogorsk Expo Center here on the outskirts of Moscow. Now today, I thought I'd show you around a convention. I've not been to one for a little while. They do have an on and off season here for them. And today, it's a hunting and fishing expo. So we're gonna go check it out together and see what interesting things we can find at this convention today. This event actually is restricted to people over the age of 18, I think mostly because of the hunting aspect of the event. There is an interesting few lines at the bottom of the sign here that says under the law of the Russian government, because it's harmful to children in that it may influence them to start hunting or perhaps start fishing. But very interesting sign at the entrance right here. Compared to other expos at this particular location, this isn't a very big expo. It is very niche, of course, talking about fishing and hunting. However, it's just a couple of halls that they've got set up. And it'll be interesting to see how many people are here. This is midweek, so this is a working day in Moscow, and how many people have come to have a look at this expo and perhaps do business or find some new items and products. There is definitely quite a few people here at the entrance though. Let's have a walk around a bit further. Perhaps if this show is restricted to people over the age of 18, I might have to give everybody else a warning who's watching this. There will be weapons, there will be guns. I will show some things that I'm looking at. I'm not going to be using any, probably not even picking any up. But if it's not your thing, perhaps click away and watch a different video. However, enjoy this video for what it is and all of the things that I'm going to show you here. And also, I do get a lot of comments that there isn't ladies in these events. Of course, I'm at a fishing and hunting expo, so perhaps it's not so much of a lady thing to do, but I do see some here. So if you don't see that many in the video, they're probably off at another expo doing something else, or they're all busy at work today. Generally, a lot of these expos are the brands that come to display their goods or their merchandise. It's not generally a retail event. However, some of the booths at this event, people are buying and selling things, particularly fishing gear. And otherwise, most of it's just things that are on display from companies, perhaps new products for 2024, or something that maybe hasn't been in the Russian market before. So lots of things that are related to fishing, hunting, camping, and just generally outdoor activities that you would do here in Russia. So lots of different things and different companies that have their displays set up. Of course, fishing and fishing rods. There is only probably a couple of brands of fishing rods that I know the name of. So I think it's definitely interesting to come to an event like this in a different country and see what brands they have, and just lots of people geeking out and looking at new products or something that they haven't maybe seen before. Have a look at these little mini countertop ones. How small are these? They're like miniature fishing rods. And they've got some outdoor gear here as well. Really interesting. They've got the Alaska word on them. Maybe it's a brand of jackets, I think. Looks like. Alaskan. Okay, so it is. Lots of outerwear and wet weather gear. Just looking at this larger booth right here, there is some different guys with shirts on with a lot of advertising and a lot of branding. So perhaps they're pro fishermen here in Russia, and they're talking about the different equipment and different fishing rods. I wonder if it's a thing here in Russia that they've got sponsorships for fishermen that take part in competitions. Maybe some of these guys are experts in their field. Maybe they're even famous and I don't know who they are. Have you heard the expression, kid in a candy shop? I think we all know that expression, no matter what language it translates to. And I think if you're into fishing in any form, this has to be your event to come to, at least for one day of the year, to have a look at all the brands in one place. There is hunting and fishing shops in Russia. There is a few in Moscow. The problem with Moscow generally is the city is so big, it's very hard to go to different shops easily because of the distances that they are apart. So coming to an event like this, it just makes sense because you can see all the brands in one place, all the different companies that are here in one place at the same time. And you can get an idea of what's new, what's available, what's for sale, and talk about fishing for the whole day. They've got lots of these tackle shops. Is that what they call them in Russia? I wonder if there's a different name for them other than tackle shops. Lots of ladies here, very keen to learn about fishing. I was hoping as I walk around I can see ladies at this event, not just 99% men, as I think there really are. Have a look at these lures. How neat are these? Perhaps they're handmade, I think. Very fascinating. Just the amount of equipment and gear that's set up here. And I guess it's for all different types of fishing. Perhaps because Russia is very landlocked, a lot of people would do river fishing, pond fishing, stream fishing. Looks like there's some other clothing stores here as well. And the idea with a lot of these companies is they may be wholesalers who are looking to sell into retail stores or to smaller local shops. What I will need for winter is some new gloves, but these look a little bit too extreme for me to go out and about in Moscow in. Lots of different hats and the very traditional bucket hat where you attach all the flies to the top of it as well. And have a look inside. So many styles. Amazing. So there is quite a lot of brands as I'm walking around, and it's a little bit difficult to understand these different companies. And of course, as I'm walking around talking in English, lots of people are gonna look and wonder what I'm doing and filming all the different rods and reels. And then again, these guys with these shirts on, so they're probably working for the company, or perhaps they're masters or meisters, as the word is said in Russian. And a lot of them, I think, perhaps are pro fishermen who are here to help out and promote the brand as much as they can. Have a look at these boots. Very cool. I think these are waterproof boots. Not sure I need these this winter. As I'm walking around, I'm seeing quite a few things that I haven't seen before. And perhaps if you're in the fishing scene, you probably know what I'm showing you here, or maybe you haven't before. These are called bait boats. And they're basically a remote control boat where you can put bait into them, into this top part. And then they've got a range up to 200 or 500 meters. And you can basically drive them out into the river or pond and release bait. I've got the bait boat on my mind. And you can basically chum the river with these. And they've got all sorts of different models as well, where they've actually got sonars built in and GPS, so you can track the places where you're fishing. Has anyone seen this kind of thing before? I've never seen it before today. Maybe I've not been paying attention when I go to the fishing shops too much. But how neat is this? I mean, this is really very posh in a way for fishing, short of just casting your line and catching a fish. A little bit of electronic assistance. I really find it just fascinating. Everybody coming to look at all of the equipment here and all of the different brands So there is a mixture of Russian branding that you can see on the signs. And then there's a mixture where there's some English words as well. And perhaps, maybe over time, some of the Western brands that have come to Russia have changed over to Russian Cyrillic words. How about the chilly sun? I'm not sure if I need any stickers or not. There is quite a lot of other content creators that I've noticed too as I'm walking around making videos. Sprut fishing trademark. So I wonder if some of these are Western brands that have come to Russia, or they're actually Russian companies. As I've been walking around, I'm talking to different people and getting as little or as much information as I can with my limited Russian conversation. But definitely, there is a lot of brands of fishing tackle here. I really do just come here on my own will to make these videos. I enjoy coming to these conventions and expos and having a look at what's happening with different industries here in Russia, and to come to one that's just dedicated to fishing and hunting. It's really fascinating. Of course, we can all simply just go to the local shop where we live and buy products. But if we want to see all of the brands that are on show, I think coming to this kind of event helps a lot. There is no affiliation with anything that I'm showing. I'm just literally walking around and showing what's on display. Looks like here they've got a barbecue company, or at least the different models for doing shashlik and perhaps cooking fish, of course, as well. And most of these are all coal driven, or coals. They're not wood burning. So you put the coals in there and then wait half an hour, and you're good to go. They've also got some gas ones as well. You can see these on the back row here, where you can put the bottle in and just take them for boiling tea or making some soup perhaps. There's a booth right here that's got the wording ice fishing guide. And I wonder if the equipment is different for ice fishing than it is for traditional river fishing or fishing not in winter time. We've got lots of displays. Pretty much a lot of the companies that are on show here just have one of everything, because it's about sharing the brand and talking about the brand. Not all of these are going to sell anything. It's really a matter of getting the brand name out there to everybody, and the people that are from the company talk about the products. There's a company right here that's got equipment for ice fishing and these drills. So where you go out onto a frozen lake or river, you literally drill yourself a hole and start fishing from it. And who would have known there's so many different types and brands of them on display? Of course, I'm pretty much the novice fisherman, so coming to see some of these things for the first time's really quite interesting. And there's some serious drills right here. I guess depending on how thick the ice is. There's a brand on the other side here called Mustard. And I wonder if this is an established company, maybe here in Russia or from overseas, hooked on fishing. Somebody needs to let me know if you've heard of this brand before or not. They've got plenty of different things on display. Have a look how tiny these hooks go down to. These are just miniature. I mean, what sort of size fish are you looking to catch with such small hooks? I would have to think, after walking around for quite some time, that almost every Russian fishing company or brand is here at this event. We've got really something for everybody. Now, if you go to a lot of conventions, very typically on the last day, they sell all the display items, and the companies don't necessarily want to pack everything up and take it back. And they'll even do show specials where they're selling everything that's on display. I wonder, a place like this where they've got the sale signs on things, they want to sell items. There's some rods for children there as well. And again, I'm still looking for brands that I recognize. I don't seem to know any of these. A lot of focus here on kids fishing. And have a look, they've even got waders for children back there as well, and different shirts and even branded fishing rods. There's a stand here with glasses, or particularly sunglasses. And I always wonder if it's the fisherman that catches the fish, or is it all the fancy accessories and different tools that help? And do you think these gentlemen are trying to tell you that you'll catch more fish by wearing glasses when you're out on the river? I wonder. There is really definitely plenty of interest in all the different stands as I'm walking around, big or small. People are really looking at all the different companies and all of the things perhaps where people go a little bit further afield fishing. Back in Australia, I'd go jetty fishing. So I'd drive down to the local jetty and fish right there, get in my car and head home. Normally go for a few hours. And I think a lot of people in Russia perhaps go for quite a few days, and it's not really an afternoon activity. This is what we want to see. Proof of concept. Basically, if you use the hooks, these are the fish that you can catch. And all the different people showing their trophies. Lots of very interesting lures and hooks. Normally when I come to conventions here at Krasnogorsk Expo Center, there is a lot of emphasis on Chinese companies. And there's one right here with carbon fiber fishing rods. And it's very simply set up. They've got a few posters. I would think they brought all these rods in a box on the flight over from China. And then the staff here definitely don't speak Russian. And it's very difficult for them to sell products or at least promote the brand. The one guy is here, he's using translating apps on his phone to try to talk about what they've got on offer. But it's really a difficult market to come to if you can't speak Russian and want to sell your products into Russia. As I walked around, every company here has Russian guys or ladies at the booths talking about the products and showing them and promoting them. And then where you see one or two stands with Chinese staff, it's a tough sale for sure. Lots of interest around this stand. I think they actually have things that they're selling, so lures. And the best way to sell it, have prices on everything. And then you can just have a dig through all the stuff that's on show. This is a fisherman's dream to come to this sort of a booth. And then some of the other stands literally just have one of each of their brands on show, and then flyers and business cards, and they're wanting to sell wholesale to retailers for reselling. This one over here has fishing lines as well. It's interesting, again, a lot of these brands I've literally never seen before. I think perhaps coming from Australia, we're very limited on the brands of equipment that's imported into the country. Then you come to somewhere like Russia, and there's such a culture for the outdoors and fishing, hunting, and there's just endless brands that you can buy. They've actually got a tank set up here with an expert showing you about the rods and reels and the equipment and casting, and he's demonstrating to just a few people at the moment the different types of lures that you can use for different situations. Very cool. Of course, this type of video is a little bit different from a lot of the ones that are on my channel generally. I do have an entire playlist of conventions that I've attended here in Moscow. So if seeing something like that interests you, have a look at the convention playlist. And the idea is to show different industries that are here in Russia and what things are available, what you can buy, and the amount of choice of items as well. You know, you're coming to a stand here where there is thousands of different things available and for sale. And then you've got gentlemen here who have years of knowledge, and literally you can talk to them. You can figure out what your needs are. However, you know, this type of video maybe doesn't appeal to everybody who watches my channel. But I just think it's so interesting to see the fact that they set up unique expos just covering one topic and all of the equipment surrounding it, and that they can get together literally hundreds of companies at one event like this. And again, just small companies through to very large ones are on display here, and wholesalers selling even something as simple as a plastic bottle. Love to know what some of these things do. I know there's different lures. Perhaps they're selling individual items and they're manufacturers. Yeah, really interesting. And just everybody completely happy just to take their time and walk around and look at whatever's on display. There is definitely endless booths that are dedicated to all things fishing and all of the different accessories and the endless amount of lures and different types that you can get. I would never have thought that there was that many available and for sale. Entire booths and walls of them. I hope you're finding this walk around interesting. I'm going to move over to the other hall now and have a look at the next section. And let me know in the comments, are you into fishing? Is it something that you do regularly? Please let me know in the comments if that's something that interests you. Maybe you are watching from Russia or somewhere overseas, and maybe you like to go offshore fishing on boats. I think there's so many different types of fishing that you can do. Maybe just watching the video because it's a new video on the channel, which I appreciate as well. But let me know, is fishing something that you like doing? I've actually managed to find some Shimano gear in one of the cabinets. There's not that much of it on show though. Really, it's a lot of other brands. They do have a Ryobi branded one there as well. But maybe here in Russia, Shimano is just another brand amongst hundreds of others, and it's not suited to local fishing. I've made it over to the section with all of the hunting equipment, and they're playing incredibly loud music, which is not very helpful for a video. And they've got quite a lot of different displays going on here. Now, if you might have watched a previous video on the channel where I went to a weapons shopping mall. Now this is a little bit on a different level. So there's a lot of hunting related items in here. That video did have some accessories, but this place I think has a lot more focus on hunting generally. Maybe somebody can let me know about the brand name Remington. I thought they were shavers. Perhaps they're also hunting and fishing brands as well. They've got the shoes here and different items. And all of the all-weather gear on the back wall there as well. When I've been to other expos, there's a theme generally going on, and there's always a booth with knives and different types of them, whether they're ornamental or for cooking or fishing. And this place is no exception. They've got literally stand after stand of them set up here. Also some swords as well. And all of these different handmade knives. Have a look at the intricate pattern on the handles. Even they've got axes as well. Very interesting. They also have accessories for the knives. So if you want to do knife sharpening, they've got the tools here for sharpening knives. So you can actually buy the whole piece of equipment to do your own sharpening at home. Some of these knives are not just the average kitchen knife. Some of these are cleavers, literally. They are incredibly dangerous. I'm worried about using the knife to cut some cheese at home. And they've got some of these on display here that are just on a whole different level. And the amount of craftsmanship that goes into them is just phenomenal. They've got a booth after booth of them. So if you're wanting something perhaps as a gift or for your own collection, there are so many different types, perhaps for different uses. I'm not sure. And of course for fishing, yes, filleting knife and all the rest. Maybe, here we go. Look at the sharpness of that. Wow, amazing. Fantastic, how sharp are they? Can I worry about cutting myself in the kitchen at home? I was really thinking there was more of an emphasis on the hunting side of things, but I guess perhaps the knives and the knife businesses in Russia is perhaps a much bigger deal than what I realize, and the amount of different ones that are available and for sale. I mean, what would you possibly use this hook-shaped one for? Of course, all of these other classic ones, they can be used quite a lot more generally, but then there's some really serious looking knives as well. Looks like also they're selling some of them here also. Have a look at these on this back wall right here. These are very nice. Not sure I'd have a use for one, but they're just so interesting to see and realize that there's a whole market for them in Russia, and just booth after booth of sellers and manufacturers. It's really a lot to see. Also, what's an expo without food and being able to get different foods? And there's different stands here with types of honey, and there is lots of choices and different versions of it. You can also do free sampling here as well. There's quite a few different vendors that have got meats and different types of game meats as well. So not just normal hams that you'd get at the local supermarkets. You can get from different animals. And also there's some smoked fish as well. We'll look at this. Delicious. Oh, no, I'm getting hungry. They even have a tea cellar here as well, with these big bags of different types of teas. And you can buy this by weight. And I think there's not a house in Russia that doesn't have a cupboard of different Russian teas at their disposal. My wife is no exception to that. Have a look at the honey. So there's not just the classic honey that you'd be used to. There's different thicknesses and different types, and mostly coming from different regions of Russia, well beyond Moscow. Have a look again at the different meats here. Different types of salamis and smoked meats. We came to look at a fishing expo. We've ended up at a food one. Here is different pickled mushrooms and dried fruits. Maybe after a long day looking at fishing items, you end up at the different meat and food stands. Quite a lot of these different meat sellers or salami sellers are selling different exotic meats. So you can get bear, you can get beaver, duck, pheasant, there is moose, and there isn't literally an animal that you can't get a smoked meat in, and different type of smoked meat. Also different game or bird meats, if that's the right word. And there is quite a lot of the stands that have it in different types. So this is mostly packaged as gifts that you can use as presents and give to people. Or the ones over here, like with the smoked fish, this is literally by weight. So you just buy what you want and generally would eat it today. They've also got set up a knife throwing display, and literally you get a set of knives and you're throwing them at the boards here. Of course, it's all supervised and there's people, you know, helping you out on what to do and the different rules. If there is a rule to how to do it, I guess don't throw while someone's getting the knives out of the boards. But very interesting that you can literally just line up to do this. And then there's actually different people that are teaching you how to use the knives. There is an element of danger to this, really. One of the things that I had a challenge with when I filmed the video at the weapons shopping mall is YouTube actually demonetized that video, and I can't earn any income from it. And it's actually gone on to do incredibly well in the last week since I put it on the channel. So I'm a little bit hesitant to show weapons and hunting implements here for this video. I will walk through definitely though. There is a lot of other things here beyond just showing a weapon. Of course, it's a fishing expo. The actual knife throwing thing behind me is actually an event that they've got taking place with the Russian Knife Throwing Association, which is, I didn't even know was a thing. And they've brought a Chinese delegation over to have a Russia versus China knife throwing competition. And at the moment, the Chinese team are practicing. There's a few of the Russian throwers here as well. And they do actually invite people to have a go and practice. And they'll teach you how to throw the knives if you want to. I think everybody's seen quad bikes before. And then you come to Russia and you see the real quad bikes and just how big they are. And these things are just massive. It's probably hard to give you a perspective of how big they are when you're standing alongside them. They're just absolutely massive pieces of kit. Just these huge tires. Of course, these are for all terrain, but we don't have anything like this in Australia, not in any way this size. And then you come here and have a look at these. There's a few people standing by them to give you a bit of perspective of how large they are. And, you know, it's like they're just little toys. So there's a guy got on this to take a photograph, and just have a look at how small he looks sitting on it. I mean, he looks tiny. I've come back to this display at the very front here, the Remington one, and it looks like they've got by far the biggest display here. So the hunting side of this event, I thought there would be more weapons on show and devices for hunting, if you like. And there is very, very few that they're showing. And I think I'm going to have to go back to that shopping mall that I went to in a previous video and show it in more detail. I got lots of questions and comments from visiting that place, and I've got some follow-up questions as well. Oh, nothing like beautiful ladies at a fishing and hunting expo. Now, are they going to encourage you to buy a fishing rod? I'm not sure. So pretty much as a whole, this display at the front here is really general outdoor gear and equipment. They have some scopes, and I think these may be night vision items as well. And just general hunting items and some of the accessories also. Now, if anybody doesn't know, my wife's last name is Kalashnikov, and it's also the same last name of the very famous brand of gun that we can see right in front of me here. This music is so loud, and my wife has always said if anything ever happens, she'll call her father and he'll come around and say hello to me. There is some other brands on show here. They do actually have prices here as well. I would imagine nothing's for purchase here at the event because of the rules about ownership. But there's definitely a few on display, but not as many as I thought there would be. So the hunting side of this expo is got quite a lot of different diverse displays going on, and they've got all sorts of different furniture as well, and perhaps to suit your hunting lodge. And I just noticed right here there's a stand with Levi jeans. Now, I think by now most people know that Levi left Russia and the stores closed for a period of time and they're reopened with different names. However, there's no hiding the brand on display, and they're definitely more than available in Russia, perhaps for a little bit of a premium price. But Levi is definitely in Russia if anybody needs some. And whoever is making the shows for CNN, I'm not too sure where they're getting their information from. As I head on out of the Fishing and Hunting Expo, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. There is actually quite a few other expos going on in the same place today. Krasnogorsk Expo Center is very huge. They've got about 20 exhibition halls, and I think in the last couple of days 4 different events have started at the same time, and it's a huge territory here, and thousands of people can easily come to different events on different days. And I'm actually going to go see a second expo while I'm here. Now, I could come tomorrow, but this is about 2 hours from my house, so it's easy to do it all in one day and take a little break in between. I hope you found the expo interesting, and of course I did make a previous video at a weapons shopping mall that you might want to check out, and I am planning to go back there because there was lots of follow-up questions that I have for the gentleman that I made the video with, who was super helpful to answer some of the questions, but lots more was basically unanswered. So I hope seeing what a fishing and outdoor expo is like was something a little bit different on the channel. Now, of course, it won't get the millions of views that other videos have got, but I'm completely okay with that. I like to come to these events. I like to learn something new, see new products, meet lots of nice, interesting people. I also met some subscribers today as well, so if you're watching, hello to you. It's always nice to be stopped at a place and somebody recognizes me. So if you do see me out and about, definitely say hello. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That'll be super nice. And post a comment, let me know. Are you a fishing or outdoor enthusiast? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. However, beautiful weather at the moment, I think inspires everybody to want to go fishing and catch some fish and just be out in the outdoors and fresh air. Even today, it's such a beautiful day to be inside. If you want to follow me on Telegram, my link is coming up right now. You can click that. And then if you want to watch an old video on the channel, there's one coming up right now, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.